Hey folks, Gwe. My name's Ed Travers. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of Christchurch-Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I get comments all the time. I get comments, I get emails. Most of them are very, very nice. Some are flattering. Some, though, are less than flattering. Some are hostile. Some are things that I can answer, that I can speak to. Some are things that are just outside of my knowledge, outside of my understanding. They're about things that I'm just not aware of. But of all the comments that I get, the only ones that I really don't know what to do with are the comments that come from people who haven't watched the video. And you can tell. Now, a lot of times they'll say, I haven't watched this video, but you suck, or something along those lines. Or it'll simply say something about how stupid I am based on the title. Now, I get it. I really don't want to waste our time watching frivolous things. But a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago, I did a video about a theory that we're seeing some falfits offer out there in the more fundamentalist branches of Christianity that claim that Barack Obama is an antichrist that Jesus mentions by name in the Gospel of Luke. And I talked about why that theory exists, and I hope I did a decent job refuting it, putting it to rest. I hope I gave a decent job arguing against it. But it was in that video that I received a bunch of comments from people who, if they had watched the video, probably would have been happy with what I had to say. Now, so be it. The video itself, it was titled in a way that was meant to generate interest from that particular group of people, from that fundamentalist group of people. I was really hoping that some who may have held that belief might watch the video and perhaps be influenced by it, perhaps be influenced in such a way that they would be willing to give up that theory, that they would see the truth as opposed to what these falfits are offering. But it strikes me, that expression, you can't judge a book by its cover. It strikes me that there's a danger. There's a danger present for all of us when it comes to gathering information, when it comes to knowledge, and ultimately, I think, in the end, wisdom. How can we comment on something that we haven't watched? And how can we comment on something that we haven't watched in a meaningful way, in a way that deserves and demands respect? How can we answer people? How can we respond to people? How can we engage in conversation with people in a meaningful way, in a way that demands respect? When we haven't been listening, when we haven't actually taken the time to hear what they have to say. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, there are conversations happening out there in the world that I have no desire to be a part of. But if they come my way, I'm going to have to do my best to listen to what people have to say. I may prefer to be sitting in a chair covered with broken glass while pulling my nose hair out one at a time in an incredibly slow and painful manner. But I still have to listen. Otherwise, I don't have a right to speak. I don't have a right to respond. No, we have to be willing to listen to the other side if we're actually going to respond in a way that matters. We have to be willing to listen to what people of opposing views have to say if we have any hope of making change, if we have any hope of sharing what we must consider to be valuable points of view. If we're not willing to listen, then all we're going to be able to do is throw words at people, drown them in a plethora of nonsensical wordsmithing. Just continuously shower them in verbs and nouns and adjectives, hoping some of it sticks. If we're not willing to listen, we're not speaking to them where they are. We're not speaking their language. We're not speaking to their position, to their opinion, to their fears, anxieties, to their stresses. We're not speaking to their lives. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. I pray that we will practice listening, that we will practice opening up our ears and our hearts and our minds to what others have to say, even when it feels grueling. Because I also pray that our words, our powerful words, our words of love and encouragement may penetrate the hardest of hearts. Amen. Numultus.